moving right along. Let's move on to the role of humor, emotions, and tone. So if you're ready, we're gonna jump right into this. There's really a lot of importance in the role of humor and obviously emotion, but did you know that you could actually change a story with your tone? So it's really important when you think of a memoir, it's kind of like a roller coaster. It's just emotions, and you as the protagonist or the main character, you're the one who is on that roller coaster, and you're trying to pull people onto the roller coaster with you, not because you want them afraid or anything, but because you know that where you are now is probably a better place than where you were when you first got on that scary ride. And you know that there's people out there who are going through similar situations, and that they probably could use a hand. That if you're able to figure out how to reach them and connect with them, that they will read your story and they'll be like, ooh, dang, I need to make sure that I don't do what they did, and that I do what they did finally, only I do it a whole lot sooner. So when you kind of figure out what your reason for writing your memoir is, you realize how important it is not just to share your own story, because it is important to share your story for yourself, but it's really important to help others as well. But sometimes other people, they may not be on the same page with you yet, and you need to find them where they are. So sometimes using the humor is a really great way to connect with them. Your emotions and your tone, we use tone a lot other than as a mom, with that kind of a tone, but it is a vital part of communicating and communicating through written word. So here's just a few reasons why understanding the role of humor, emotion, and tone is so important. Number one, humor adds levity, and I believe we've talked about this, but it can help break up a heavy or an emotional topic, and it creates more engaging and relatable experience for your reader. Your reader doesn't want to walk in the door and just be burdened with all of the negativity and all of this, and they're like, I can do negative by myself. Tell me something funny, do something that makes me feel like there's hope here. So add some humor for your reader. They'll appreciate it, and it'll help you as well. Number two, emotion creates connection. Now, we've talked about this as well. Emotion is so important when you're writing, because if your reader is not going to connect with you, they're not going to want to keep reading your story, and then you can't help them. So make sure that you make that emotional connection with them. They'll get in there with you. They'll go through the journey with you, and they'll come out the other end happier, and hopefully you can have saved them the years or the heartache. Now, number three, tone sets the mood. So tone can create a sense of nostalgia, anticipation, reflection, depending on how you phrase things. You set the tone for your reader. The tone can also create a unique voice for your memoir that helps it stand out. So like if your tone is, oh, I'm so excited and I'm getting married, and I am so in love and I'm just thrilled, and then I got a divorce. You're like, whoa, okay. I don't really see the emotions there. You were happy, okay, great. But then you got a divorce, and you cut it off. You're too short on what happened when things changed. And the reader would not understand, well, how did you get from here to here? How did you end up divorced? were you blindsided by it, or what happened? So you really want to change your tone as your journey goes through. So be authentic. You're not changing your tone in a fake way, but you're sharing the time lapse, and you're letting them know, everything was great until it wasn't, and then it was that one day everything changed. And then let your tone get heavier. So your tone really, really sets the mood of what you're writing. Number 4, humor can enhance the emotional impact. It can create contrast between lighter and heavier moments, and it makes the emotional moments even more powerful that way. 5, emotion can make your story more memorable. It can help your readers understand your experience in a more profound way that actually creates a lasting impact on their lives. Now, make sure when you do this that you're impacting them in the way that you want to, because you really will have an impact on other people's lives with your written words. Number 6, your tone can reflect the theme of your entire memoir. For example, if your memoir is about overcoming adversity, a hopeful or a resilient tone can reinforce, the message that I'm not giving up. I'm going to fight forward. I'm going to push. I'm going to make my voice be heard. And when you say that, your tone, your reader picks that up. You don't have the ability to necessarily increase your volume in written word. So you have to do that through tone. And you absolutely can. Number 7, humor, again, can reveal character. Now, I love this because it shows your readers your unique voice and perspective and makes the story more engaging to the reader. But it's not just the character that they get to know, it's you. You are the character at some point in your life, but through this method, you're also letting them get to know you now. So you probably will have other people reach out to you, assuming this is something that you take public. They'll probably reach out to you. They'll probably share their experiences that that they related to, and using that humor in there will show them, this is who I was. This is the really tough time I went through, and this is me now. And I'm happy, and this and this. And you may be the one who gives them hope, because if they've gone through similar things as you, then your humor, your happiness, your tone of that way is going to help them know that there is better days ahead. Now, number 8, emotion can also inspire empathy. And this is really just another way of saying they relate. Because when someone feels empathy for you, it's not pity. It's that they feel it for you, that they understand what you're going through. It's not that they just like, oh yeah, she was sad, great, whatever. Because that person who would think that is not empathetic. And sometimes you have people who are more empathetic than others in readers. So you want to make sure that you find some sort of a balance where you are certain that you are using emotion to draw in and engage your readers who are empathetic. But the ones who simply aren't, they're not going to be reached by probably any book. So do the best you can. You won't reach everybody, but you will if you'll come close if you make sure to use proper emotion in there. And you can't use proper emotion unless you are open and honest. And that's sometimes the hard part, but that's what you need to do. Throw the emotion out there. Just, wear your emotion on your sleeve. for the book. And, you know, I believe that you're going to really touch some people. Now, number 9, tone can create suspense. The tone of your memoir can create suspense, tension, especially if you're writing, you know, about a particularly dramatic or emotional event. You know, if there's abuse, if it was a broken relationship or something like that. Don't be afraid to use that tone in those situations, because again, you can't raise your voice. They can't see you cry. You have to use your words and your tone to really break through that flat piece of paper and become more dimensional. And then 10, humor and emotion work together. And this is one of the biggest things. And it's not just humor and emotion, but if you can blend a couple of different things, that really is where you start adding even more depth. But humor and emotion, they're some of the best ways to really balance your deep with your happy. You know, kind of keep things from getting too down or too whoo, you know. But basically, you know, it creates that balance, and it makes you more authentic, in that if you, let me see how to say this, if you're going through hell, you know you're not 24/7 going through hell. There's usually going to be something, you know, in your day, something will happen. Maybe your dog or your cat will come up and cuddle with you, and that you know, that brief moment, you know, maybe you'll see, you know, the cat will come up and nuzzle your shirt or something. If you can throw something like that in, that will give your reader and you the happiness level that you need to keep flipping that page, because you just don't want to stay dark for too long. Now, so overall, just remember, incorporating the humor, emotion, and tone into your memoir is very important. It creates a more compelling and engaging story. And by understanding the role of these elements, you can create a more memorable and impactful reading experience for your audience. And that's really what this is about when you put it into book form. Now, if you are just going through it for personal use, then you don't need to worry as much about how you phrase things. Just enjoy the experience for yourself. But if you're going to put it in book form for other people to read, it really is important that you put in the extra effort, and just you'll much more prefer it as well, because I can tell you personally, I've reread things that I've written as memoirs, and when I see the ones that I was just kind of like journaling for myself, I kind of remembered, and some of the things that I experienced, I even forgot. So it's kind of interesting how over the years, you'll forget your own memories even. But then if you really focus on your tone and the emotions, and really being visual with the way you word things, just even rereading those later, I'm like, wow, I do remember that. And things that you may not have remembered otherwise will just come pouring back to you. So it really is important. Use those emotions and we'll keep on moving. As I say, get out there, have some fun, and let your creativity soar.